Hey everyone, I'm here to go ahead and walk you through the process for calculating the growth rate for your algae culture, or the rate at which your algae biomass is increasing or decreasing through time. So first, we're going to go ahead and fill in this table with some of the data we collected for Group 1, Group 2, and Group 3. And then I'm also going to make a fake Group 4 here as well, and I'm going to use this Group 4 data to calculate my growth rate, and then you can follow along with me using your data to calculate the growth rate for your culture. So one thing we're going to do first is we're going to subtract the day 2 biomass from the day 4 biomass, and this is just going to let us see very quickly how the biomass is changing through time. And so for us, for this group 4, we're seeing that the biomass added 90 milligrams of algae across those 2 days. And so this question comes up next then. So did the number of algae cells increase or decrease since day 2? And I want you to think this through in context of your algae culture and the data that you collected throughout the last couple of days, and then help kind of explain that. So if you did see it increase through time, what does that say about your culture? Is it happy? Is it healthy? Is it sick? And if it's decreasing, do the same. So the next step here then is actually calculating the rate at which your algae culture is growing. And you can see the equation listed here. And I wanted to first remind you that algae reproduce asexually, where one cell divides into 2 cells, 2 to 4, 4 to 8, 8 to 16, then 32 and 64, and so on and so on. And this mode of reproduction ultimately is what leads to exponential growth. So if we return to our equation here, that is why we need to calculate this rate using the natural log function. It's represented here as a small l, small n natural log function, and this is how we kind of capture and explain exponential growth in this equation. So let's start. So we're going to grab the data from day 4 and day 2, and if you kind of follow along in the equation that's above there, the first step is we're going to divide these two. So we're going to divide the biomass of day 4 by the biomass of day 2, and that's going to give us 1.36. And then using our calculator, you can find this natural log function on a graphing calculator, or using the calculator that's built into Google, or smartphones have it as well if you're looking at the smartphone on portrait mode. So you can take the natural log of 1.36, and that's going to give you 0.3075. So then, this is a unitless number now. The natural log takes care of all the units, but now we want to see this across a specific length of time. And so when we sampled our culture, we sampled it on day 2 and we sampled it on day 4. So 4 minus 2 then is 2, and so we're going to take this 0.3075 and divide that by 2. And this is going to give us 0.1537. And then to make this a rate, we're just going to multiply this by 100. And this is ultimately going to convert that number into a percentage. And so now we're seeing that our growth rate for group 4 was 15.37%. And so what this is saying ultimately is that our algae biomass culture is increasing at a rate of about 15.37% per day. All right, and that is how you calculate growth rate using the natural log function to explain exponential growth. Thanks.